Welcome to Thursday night class here at Kauai Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center, Kagyu Tupten Choling, on the island of Kauai. We do this class every Thursday night, 6 to 8. And then, for those that can't see the class in real time, it's recorded, put on our website. I'm Amatashi, and tonight we're going to do the main practice tonight will be Vajrasattva, complete with the 100-syllable mantra and meditation. When practicing shamanistic Lamaism in the Tibetan tradition, one must understand that the Lama is the source of this, what we call oral transmission. And the teacher, the Lama, man or woman, is trained in the two natures of the mind. The ordinary nature we all know and have awareness of is called the judgmental or drama nature. And it comes under the heading of relative mind. The other nature of our mind, which is also everybody has, animals, humans, and spirits, which are called sentient beings, it's called the natural mind, or the mind of ultimate awareness. So these two states of awareness, all sentient beings have, but only in the human condition can one bring one to realize the natural mind, which is the ultimate nature. The other sentient beings, the animals, and the four categories of spirits, from heaven to the hell realms to the we call deprived spirits and war god spirits, they have the same drama mind as humans have in the relative condition. And animals, their relative situation is based on what we call instinct. So they're locked in to their situation because of that. And they don't have the intelligence to connect with their own natural state. Now, the natural state, which I'm going to, before we take refuge tonight, which is part of the tradition, is mentioned in this book of Perfect Clarity. And this book has many pointing out instructions to the natural mind that help one to understand its usefulness. So I'm going to read a few of these short excerpts from this book. It said, first of all, you arrange your body in the positions that allow your flow of energy to assist you in your meditation practice, which I'll explain that when we start to do practice. The second one is not to talk or rest your speech. The third one is don't reflect on past or imagine future events. Stay in the present and meditate with deliberate without any conceptual labeling. Don't regard emptiness or the void nature of your mind, where thoughts come from, as being empty, being nothingness. Without evaluating right or wrong or any of the objects of the five senses that you perceive, simply face inward and leave your attention in naturalness. Remain in this natural situation just like an infant. Don't let your attention wander for even an instant. This is called the state of timeless awareness. When one completely abandons the thinker and what is thought and the judgment qualities that arise from that from that situation. Simply remain like a child, and if you diligently apply yourself with the advice of your Lama, co-emerging awareness will surely dawn. Don't reflect, don't imagine, don't evaluate, don't judge, don't meditate, don't think. Simply rest and relax in your own true nature. Gampopa, one of the lineage masters, and by the way, our lineage goes back 2,600 years to Shakyamuni Buddha, unbroken lineage. Gampopa said, non-distraction is the path of all Buddhas. This is called simply resting in the solitude of the mind, resting with unmoving mind, or resting in the natural mind. Nagarjuna said, it is taught that mindfulness of the body is the single traverse path of the Sagata, lineage master. Concentrate and be truly observant of the instant present. In this moment is timelessness aware, arising. Because losing mindfulness destroys all Dharma practice, always be mindful. So this is one pointing out instruction. Another short one is realizing the secret point of mind, although there's no separate watcher or something watch or something to experience. This natural and luminous innate mind essence is known as recognizing awareness of the ultimate state of one's consciousness. This is what is pointed out in both the Mahamudra and Dzogchen traditions of Tibetan Buddhism. And then one more. I put markers for when you take the first step in mindfulness is to take refuge with the support, which is the three roots and the three jewels. The three jewels, of course, are the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, which all Buddhists follow. In Tibetan Buddhism, we have the three roots of Tantra, which is the Lama's peaceful symbols, and the protector. When we use these three specifically in meditation practice, any one of the three is the natural mind. So now we'll take refuge. The first thought is called the altruistic motivation, which is simply everything we do is to bring all sentient beings to understand their true nature and how to use it. So we'll start with that thought. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now all together take refuge and offer prostration. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, or the deities gathered in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. And we go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis, who are the protectors and defenders of the Dharma. All of these possessing the eye of transcending awareness. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and this supreme assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained from practicing the six perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. So the altruistic motivation, the refuge prayer, and this bodhicitta prayer, the path of the Bodhisattva, are all chanted in Tibetan Sanskrit in order to communicate to the spirits what we are doing for them. So the first one is the altruistic motivation. Da dong jo wa nung ke da dong yang ke sam chen dong che ju di ne ju je ji si chang chu ning ko la chi ki bar du. Then the refuge. Bao den lama dong pa nong la su chio yedam chokor gila so nong la su chio Sanjay chon den de nong la su chio Nam pe chur nong la su chio Tao te gen nu nam la su chio Tao wo kan ro cho chang sung me cho ye she ki shen dan jen pa nam la su chio Chan je cho dang chang ki cho nam la jen chu Ardu Dadi Chansu Shi Yagi Jinso Jipe Sonam Ki Dola Tenche Sanje Yupaso. So the altruistic motivation means everything we are doing is for the benefit of all others. Because there's no such thing as separation, of course, we're included. Our support are these 6 refuges. And our practice is the 6 disciplines of the Bodhisattva path, basing those on all of the Sutra and Tantra and pointing out instructions of the Tibetan tradition. Then, what is the purpose? What motivates us to practice Dharma? Dharma means wisdom. Dharma also means the natural state, the nature of the universe, the nature of our natural mind, not the drama mind, not the relative mind. The mind that is totally connected to the present moment of life support for limitless sentient beings in this limitless universe. So these 4 thoughts are, first of all, if you even have an inclination to think about the Dharma or in some way connect to the Dharma, then you have what is called a precious human existence. And that, the top of the food chain. That's as good as it gets in the human condition. So therefore you should use it. And how do you use it? You practice the Dharma of attaining insight into your own true nature and how to use that to benefit others. The second thought is everything is impermanent. Your own situation, you don't know what comes first, the next breath or the next life. So you contemplate that as an inspiration to practice now, not wait till later. Like young people think, oh, well, I can do that when I get older. But as you can see, things are very impermanent. The third one is karma. It is absolutely necessary to believe in karma. And that makes the Tibetan tradition not a religion. Because karma simply means everything that you say, think, and do now has a result in your future, this life and future life. But more importantly, these 3, what you say, what you think, what you do with your body, speech, and mind, they have what they call a result of tendency. Now, these tendencies that you create, for instance, in past lives, have caused you to be the way you are in this life. So the tendencies of your past life together with the tendencies of this life are going to come up in your future life. The problem with this karmic tendency program, which everybody has, believe or not believe, is that you don't know when they are going to arise. They're kind of like what they say, subliminal. So they're there, but you don't know when it's going to pop up. See? And so that means you have to really be mindful of what you say, think, and do. That you don't harm yourself, you don't harm others, and that means all the humans, all the animals, and all the spirits in the entire universe. And you don't harm your environment. Whatever planet you're locating on in the human condition, that's your environment. And it's absolutely necessary to take care of it. And the fourth thing is, this drama world of conditioned existence is unfavorable. Why is it unfavorable? It's simply because it causes physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual pain, suffering. And that's across the board. And everything's always changing. And if you don't flow with the change, well, you're not in harmony with the universe. You're not in harmony with your own mind and the thoughts that are always changing in your mind. And the fourth thing, the fourth problem is drama field, this conditioned existence, is based on judgment. From the time you take birth to now, everything that you're doing is somebody else's judgment laid on you. Okay, you come out of the womb, everything's okay. You don't know. Then, the parents, they start conditioning you. What's their view? What about your view? And as you grow up, all this conditioning, relatives, friends, animals, spirits, is causing you to be in a certain way that is unfavorable. And it is unfavorable because of the pain and suffering that involves in that. So you want to get out of the judgment situation. That's the end of suffering. The Buddha said, you have suffering, there's a cause of the suffering, there's a way out of this situation, and there's an end to it. And the end is the end of judgment. This is good, that's bad, that's supreme and supernatural, divine or whatever, high, and that's low, and there's no connection. And everything is interconnected, and therefore everything is equal, just because everything's interconnected. And who's it interconnected to? You. But if you say I, me, and mine, then the trouble starts. That's drama mind. Okay? That's unfavorable. Then you start to judge I, me, and mine. You start to judge yourself. I'm rude. I'm good. I'm bad. I'm supreme. I'm a low life. I'm out of the movie. I'm not connected. I mean, that's where the trouble starts. So I'm reading that because those four thoughts give all Dharma students, practitioners, continued inspiration to do the practice. Take refuge and purify. That's what we're going tonight. We're going to purify using what all the lineages use is the Vajrasattva practice of purification. And what is this? It's a symbolic representation of your own natural mind as an enlightened human passing as a hologram, passing as an illusory body. Because actually, that's what we are. We're just a bunch of atoms, glommed together karmically and constantly changing day to day, as you can see. We call it aging, and soon to dissipate. And what happens? Well, the consciousness doesn't go away, but all those atoms, they go where they came from. Some go back to being the earth element again, some go back to the water element again, some to the fire, some to the space, some to the earth. Earth, water, fire, and some to air. So those 5 elements are what you're really composed of. And they're universal, and they have their own program. And in Tibetan Buddhism, which is really all about healing, and when we say healing, not only symptomatically what's arising as pain and suffering, but also treating the cause of what arises as pain and suffering is Tibetan Buddhism. And part of the process is to purify. Well, we purify not to just be a better human being. We purify so that the obstacles to our connection that we make with the refuge doesn't interfere with our meditation practice or whatever we're doing to reestablish our natural mind as the boss, as the way to do things. Why? Because it is infinitely more powerful and has more possibilities, infinite possibilities, than the drama field mind, the relative mind. And believe that or not believe it, that's what we're doing. And actually, we don't get too much into the belief thing. We're not faith-based, you know. We trust what we're doing works. We trust what we're doing will make us healthy. And at the same time, everybody around us and our environment. And we practice to see that takes place. And as you practice, you see that things get better, day to day, week to week, month to month. And that's enough. More than that, well, yeah, sky's the limit, but you can get too much of a good thing. So we seek the middle. We don't want to be poor. We don't want to be wealthy or rich. We want to be okay. That's the middle. And that okayness you start to apply to your relationships and everybody and the environment around you and your lifestyle. So we're going to start with the first practice of the 5 elements healing. And we do that so we get the body tuned and in harmony with our environment, the world around it. And we use our psychic energy of the power of our own minds by focusing and using our imagination, but most importantly, connecting to these universal elements, which are the mind and the body's process. So you sit comfortably on a chair or on a cushion, hands in a comfortable position on the knees or in the lap, head slightly tilted forward, mouth closed, tongue resting against the palate. And the eyes half closed, or we say softly gazing to start with, to the space 2 feet in front, arms length in front, not too close and not to an object. Just take in the space and light energy that exists everywhere as life force. Then to start with, simply bring your attention, your focus, we call it awareness, to your breath. Inhaling, diaphragm expanding, exhaling out the nose. Very natural. It's so important, this breathing, because without this, there's no life support. Then in Tibetan Buddhist practice, we introduce what is called the three lights prana yoga practice, which starts simply using the imagination to visualize the light that you are, the air that you are inhaling as white light filling your lungs. Then you connect to the absorption breath, which is the spontaneous process of the breath filling the body with energy. So you visualize that as red light flashing through your body. Then a combination of these two is exhaled out the nose as a healing breath of blue light to space. Now this simple prana yoga practice of the three lights breath causes you to bring yourself into a state of peace and tranquility called sunyata, or calm abiding. And it helps you to withdraw your distracted mind from today's worldly activities, and therefore become more focused or single-pointed in your meditative practice. Then when you've settled into this condition, simply take your focus off the breath and combine the three lights with your imagination into a particle of light as small as you can imagine in the center of your chest, creating there the connection to the infinite light contained in the fabric of boundless space. And for a short while, just relax. Do what I read you to start the class tonight. No meditation. Just be open, clear, and present in this first dimension of being, which is the nature of our universe. Then take all that energy of radiation in space condensed into the particle, and with your imagination expand it to create a tiny sphere of clear light right in the center of your chest, creating what is called a chakra, called Bindu in Sanskrit, Tigre in Tibetan. And we use the term heart chakra, heart of the universe, heart of compassion, heart of life support. Then expand that small sphere of clear light, and as it grows, see it establish itself using one of the symbols of the 5 elements. Tonight we're going to use the symbol of space itself, which is simply visualized as a small white sphere of clear light. And this white sphere is labeled space. The elements cannot be separate, but individually used in meditative healing practice, but if the qualities of one of the particular elements arises for healing. The spatial element is applied to the body to lighten it up, and the mind to take away judgment. That's the way the universe functions. The space element's about the size of a small symbol, is about the size of a small sphere, no bigger than your thumbnail. And keeping your focus and your imagination together on this symbol, see it exit out the front of your body and arrange itself 2 feet out in front of your eye. If you do see it there with your eyes, you have a really good imagination. And to physically take on the healing qualities of this symbol, imagine it to grow in size to see yourself sitting inside. Now, one of the qualities of space is silence. Now, having taken on or absorbed the healing qualities of this particular element, share it by expanding it in size to completely enclose the island, town, or area where you live. Then expand it with your imagination further to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her atmosphere. Since everything is interconnected, you are sharing your healing psychic energy with all the humans, animals, and spirits on this planet. Then expanded in size to completely enclose our solar system, which is billions of miles in diameter. In this way, the real and imagined or imaginary become the same thing. The next step is to expand it in size to completely enclose our galaxy. And let your imagination soar beyond the conceptual state of your consciousness to merge with boundless space and relax. No meditation. Complete liberation from the relative situation. Simply relax in the present moment. Of your all-pervasive natural mind. Then deliberately return from this state of spatial awareness to the conceptual state by reinventing or imagining the white sphere symbol of space to enclose the galaxy. Condense it in size to just enclose the solar system. Shrink it in size to just enclose Mother Earth. Then much smaller to the island or area where you live. Then condense all this energy to your body, seeing it just as you are inside. This symbol of healing and healing light. your own silent health spa. Peaceful, quiet. Then return the sphere to its original small size in front of your eyes, 2 feet out. Drop it to chest level and bring it into your heart chakra, so that all the energy and light that you just envisioned enters there. Shrink it in size until it's so small it's just a tiny sphere of clear light. Shrink it till it becomes the particle radiating light connecting to the infinite light of boundless space, and relax. Again in the present. No meditation. Accepting this symbol of space as timeless awareness, the nature of your own consciousness. This meditation has 2 functions. One is to bring healing energy into your physical situation. And 2, to understand that the universe around you has no judgment towards you whatsoever. Then bring your awareness to in front of your eyes and expand it into your place of practice. And take a break from this process. And smile. If you can, shake your own hand. Now this short practice, which takes about, in our time, 10-15 minutes, can be developed at whatever time period you have available. And originally, when Kala Rinpoche taught us this practice, which was his way of introducing us to the energy of our imagination and how fruitful that is, which is the basis of all Tibetan practice, Sutra and Tantra, is simply to show you that you don't have to search out here to find healing, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual healing. It's contained within your own situation. And once you've learned to harmonize your energy program, the element, specifically earth, water, fire, air, and space, through meditation, and then through applying that to what you eat and what you do and how you communicate. This is the real fruit of Dharma practice. And that's where the word Dharma means wisdom. But it's actually two words, Da and Ma. Da means light, like Buddha. Bu means patterning of light. And Ma means mother. So the mother principle is the keynote of the universe. It is the keynote of all of these, of this tradition of Tibetan Buddha, from Shakyamuni Buddha down to the present time. You know, when Shakyamuni became enlightened, there's many things that he started to do that were helpful, that's the way to put it. But the first thing he did was to connect with his mother, who had really good karma. She was in what they call the desire realm of the goddesses, gods and goddesses. Is he connected with her and told her that she thanked her very much for having him and this opportunity to be of benefit to sentient beings on the planet, this planet. And he told her, he says, you know, because of your good karma, you are now in a very special state of existence, completely lacking of pain and suffering. But you know that it's impermanent. And so that's the theme of all samsaric existence. So don't take it personally, but my advice to you is to concentrate your mind on returning to the human condition and continue what you did before, benefiting through the human condition all sentient beings. And don't get upset about having to leave that wonderful state of heavenly existence. Because it's the best. And, you know, it evolves from the human condition of good karma. And so it's not necessary to cycle. And the sentient beings are in your situation very arrogant. And so arrogant that they're not much benefit to other beings. And all of them have to return to lesser states of existence, animal, human, or spirit. That's their karmic situation. So that was his first teaching. And that shows a special emphasis to the mother. So when you do these practices, the first direction of your practice, heartfelt, unconditional love, should go to the mother that created you. Because that's, in Tibetan we say Jinda. Support her. She's number one. You wouldn't be here without her. And so special treatment should be always given to women just because of that. Because us guys and all the women, this planet, that's the only way we can get here. No spaceships unloading at our airports recently because of me. So, thank you very much. That's the way the Buddha ends his visit to his mother. Thank you very much. Now, the second practice we're going to perform tonight is the purification practice of the Nungdo. Nungdo means preliminary or foundation practice. 2 words, no drill. And it emphasizes the support of all the deity yogas, whether they be sutra or tantra. There's 100. There's 42 peaceful and 58 wrathful sadhana. And they all are presented in male and female form, and sometimes both together. But these 100 pujas or sadhanas are equal. It's just that some of them have, according to the oral transmission of the Lama presenting them, the ability to bring out special qualities or gifts in certain practitioners. And when this takes place, then you really need to have the guidance of the Lama. Otherwise, maybe overinflated ego might arise. So this is a warning down at the bottom of the page, something. But when you practice, it's not about going to heaven. It's not about getting everything you want. It's not about having all your desires. It is about healing, but it's healing in a way that is appropriate. Best way to put it. And so when we do the Vajrasattva practice, which is the second of the new growth, the first one of the 4 foundation practices is the 4 thoughts that I already said, connected with prostration and saying the refuge prayer while you're doing the prostration, and visualizing the refuge tree in front of you of all the lineages and all the Buddhas and all the Bodhisattvas and all the Dharma texts. Like that. And you and all sentient beings together doing these prostrations as support. So the second step is to purify any obstacle to that connection. You brought your body, speech, and mind into the same place. That's what the 3 lights do, practice, and that's what all these practices, sutras, and tantra, they start with that. You connect to the support, you bring that energy into your heart chakra. From there, you expand it outward, interconnecting to everybody and everything. And then you drop all the things that cause you to become judgmental. And then you clear away physical, mental, and emotional obstruction that you personally have ingrained into your situation, into your karmic stream of being. And by doing that, you proceed very fast towards ultimate realization of your true nature. And so that's a very wonderful way to purify. And the simplicity of this practice is you're again only using your imagination. Yes, you're receiving the transmission from your Lama and you'll connect to the lineage and the source of the transmission as a support. But you are purifying yourself of whatever obstacles you have individually. And then you apply the result of that collectively to everybody else. And while this is going on, just like you did the prostrations, you're imagining that every being in the universe interconnected to you is doing the same thing you are in the same time frame. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, not next lifetime, right now. And that goes for all the animals, all the humans, spirit. So if you say that this energy of the support is ingrained in this symbol of a human being as a hologram above your head, And the energy of all that with the sound of the Vajrasattva mantra, which is a state of devotion and respect and honor to this tradition through your root lama, who is this symbol. And all of that energy is passed down through your central channel, your life support system, through your body, every cell. And all the negative energy within your form pushed out of the body through your pores as sludge, poop, whatever you want to think about. And all that negative stuff sluicing off your body down into the earth, because that's where it's all going to go anyway. And that's most of what you take in goes back to every day. As soon as it hits the earth, you think that it turns to whatever benefits beings in the earth. Well, in the earth we have what they call Naga spirit. And they're an energy being that kind of controls the water element. And they're demigods. And they're very well off, the way to put it. So this is very pleasing to them. Then also in the earth we have worms and other critters. And they, whatever they like, they get. So you think like that. So you're not wasting all this crud, all your negative, whatever you have to clear. It's recycled. So this is the ultimate recycling program. And I really appreciate this word recycle because this is actually my worldly business. And it's good for the environment. So if it's good for you, it's good for the environment. What else is there? So sit with your back straight. I'll give you some finer points of the practice as we go through it, guided meditation. But for now, just sit with your back straight, hands comfortable, head tilted forward. If you can sit in full lotus, that's the best. If your hands are right on top of left thumb touching in the lap, that's the best position for hands. Eyes half closed, so space and light directly in front, arm's length in front. Mouth closed, tongue resting against the palate. This recirculates the energy. Some of you can turn your tongue back toward, they say crook your tongue, touch the tip to the palate. That's more energy. Breathe. Bring the focus to the breath. Breathe the three lights meditation as before, with the added support of the, we call the mantric sounds of three of your 5 states of natural awareness. So as you inhale the white light and fill your lungs, you hear the sound all. As the energy passes through your body as red light, you hear the sound ah. And these two together is focused as blue light healing energy out your nose to everyone. You hear the sound boom. With these three color codes and these three mantric sounds, you are connecting to the three states of compassion, power, and insight. We say clarity, voidness, and bliss. And you collect these three sounds by taking your focus off of the breath, and as before, the three color codes, white, red, and blue, all of that together again into the heart center as a particle of light connecting to basic space. Then using this support, the all-pervasive nature of your consciousness and your imagination, you imagine the particle to grow, expand till it creates this small sphere of clear light entering into this three-dimensional situation, this universe. This particular part of this universe, your body. Then you expand the sphere in size until it creates in your heart chakra a five-color sphere of light. And inside, you see the sound boom, which is we say the interconnectedness of healing energy as an all-pervasive field, the nature of the universe, the nature of your true nature of your own mind. That blue moon is given some thickness. So it's three-dimensional, blazing, whatever color blue you like. If you have this chart, it's this symbol on the side of the five spheres. It looks like a tilted five with a hook under it and a dot over it. But this home is the ultimate healing energy of, we say, the energy of healing, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, or relative and ultimate. So that seed syllable becomes the creation sound for this deity, which is called Vajrasattva. And Vajrasattva can be visualized in blue or white. I'm going to show you the Tonka of the white Vajrasattva as a hologram in union with Vajra Yogini, or what we call the Buddha Dakini, the Dakini of space. So he is white and she is white in this practice tonight. In some, it's just Vajrasattva by himself, which is appropriate. And when you use this practice, where does this home establish itself? Outside. Well, in the text it says, from the seed syllable palm, this Buddha energy field is all the dakas and dakinis and protectors of the Tibetan tradition as the energy of all the Buddhas in action. Then a Ram appears, which is, we say, the radiance of all of what appears, the light energy. And that could be either as a dakini or they say the sun disk, which lights up our part of the universe, our solar system. And then the third sound, the vibration sound that arises is ah, which was that energy passing through your body from the elements coming in with your breath. That's the energy of everything. Ah. So those three, the palm, which is the Buddha's energy, the Ram, which is how they appear, and the Ha is the energy itself, is the Hum. When you create this Hum in your heart center, you want it. Second step is to connect to the root Lama and all the Lamas which you have been making prostrations to in the first part of the moon door. But you don't have to go there with this practice tonight. Simply connect with the root Lama, see all the Lamas and all their symbols, peaceful deities, all of that, surrounding you in space. And they accept the light offering of the five-colored sphere in the home to them, makes a heart-heart connection, then their mind's energy returns to you from every direction. And this empowers you to use this Vajrasattva symbol in connection with all sentient beings. This is called the creation phase of tantric practice. Now what we did is we took the Tibetan text and did all of what I just said, and spelled it out, showing the symbol. So this 1, 2, 3 pages is the whole practice. So if you use the Dojo practice, many pages. And then you got to read the Tibetan and then you got to read the English. So more involved. Now you have the home in your heart center around a five-colored sphere, and the image of Vajrasattva is projected from your heart above your head, and it connects to your root Lama and all lineage teachers, men and women, as this symbol, because they all do this. Then the home in the heart creates with that connection 100 syllable mantra, which shows the devotion, honor, respect, and practice, all in words, but in mantric syllables. And it is coiled around the home in the heart center of the deity above your head, and it spins off radiant light energy which fills the deity's body, or if the deity is in union with, like I said, Buddha Dakini, then both bodies. Then from their place of connection, sexual connection, the light comes down into your Uma channel, which is towards the back of your head. There's what it was a soft spot, enters there, comes down into your head, fills that area of your body with energy, light, then your throat, then your heart, then your navel, then your sex chakra, then your whole body, and all negative pushed out. So this is your natural mind's energy, replacing the drama energy of your emotional, we say, unrational mind that was placed there and causes ill health and obstacles. And all that is out and down into the earth and becomes nectar or whatever is appropriate for beings in the earth under you. As you do this projection, seeing the deity as just a hologram above your head, as a symbol connection to all the support you're taking refuge in, and this energy passing down through you, and the negative energy out and down into the earth, you sound the mantra, that 100-syllable mantra, which is the creation of the energy, the actualizing of it with your speech. And it's in the text. This is what it sounds like. Om Vajrasattva Samaya. That's the first sentence. That's connecting to all the support. Manu Palaya means this energy program. Vajrasattva Deno Tikta means to heal. Judo me bhava, suto kayo me bhava, supo kayo me bhava means on 3 levels: physical, mental, and emotional. Anurakta me bhava means spreading. Sarva Siddhi Mantra Yasa means accomplishing this healing process. Sittam Shriya Ankuru Home means with the power of interconnection, so that you and all sentient beings are doing this together. Paha, Paha, Ho means the 5 levels of awareness into voidness. Bhagawan means supreme. Doesn't mean supreme supernatural. It means supreme accomplisher. Sarva Tathagata, bringing all the, Sarva means all the wisdom energy into this situation. Vajra Mame Musa, accomplishing the indestructible Vajra body. Vajra Bhava means with all its results. Mahasamaya means this is an endless commitment. Sattva means actual and imagined, or physical and mental coming together. We say Rajas and Tamas, being at peace but in action, is the result. Energy, equal to the universal energy of our world, our situation. So I just explained the mantra. Now, all you simply have to do is say it while visualizing this process of light, your own natural life force, purifying your own natural body to benefit all beings and get good results. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palayam Vajrasattva Teno Plam Tikta Jido Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mantra Sarva Karma Sutame Sittam Shriyam Kuru Om O Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajra Mame Musa Vajra Bhava Samaya Sattva Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Deno Swami Tita Drido Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mantra Sarva Karma Sutame Sittam Shriyam Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajra Mame Musa Vajra Bhava Samaya Sattva Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Deno Plam Tita Drido Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mantra Sarva Karma Sutame Sittam Shriyam Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajra Mame Musa Vajra Bhava Samaya Sattva. Now the home in your heart center, and the heart center of Vajrasattva, and the mom in her heart, or Vam, whichever, all of that is the interconnectedness to all beings, accomplishing what you are practicing with you, in union, no separation, as one family, Om Vajrasattva, Vajrasattva, Samaya, Manopalaya, Vajrasattva, Dinopana, Tika Drito, Mebawa, Sutokaya, Mebawa, Sukokaya, Mebawa, Adoratu, Mebawa, Savar Siddhi, Ventrayata, Savar Karma, Sutame, Chitam Shriyam, Guru, Om, Aha, 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 Om, Bhagavan, Savartata Kapta Vajra Mami Vaya Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Bhava. Samaya sometimes is Samaya, two ways of saying it. Means commitment. Om Vajra Vajra Sattva Samaya Mahavaya Vajra Sattva Tenotani Tika Dita Meva Sutokaya Mevawa, Adoratu Mevawa, Sarvasiddhi Ventrayata, Sarva Karma Sutame, Sistam Sriyam Guru Om, Aho, Bhagavan, Sarva Tata Tata, Vajramani Bhutam, Vajramam, Mahasamaya, Om Vajramani, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manipalaya, Vajrasattva Dinopam, Tika Drito Mebawa, Sutokaya Mebawa, Sukokaya Mebawa, Adoratu Mebawa, Savar Siddhi Ventrayasa, Savar Karma Sutame, Sistam Shriyam Guru, Aho, Bhagavan, Savar Tata Vajramani Bhutam, Vajrabhava, Mahasamaya Sattva. The form is total interconnectedness. It is the energy field of Aksabhaya Buddha, who sits on the head of Vajrasattva. Om. Om Vajradeni Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dhenota Tika Drito Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Adoratu Mebawa Savar Siddhi Ventrayata Savar Karma Sutame Chitam Chiyam Guru Bhagavan Savar Tata Vajramani Bhutam Vajramam Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajrasattva Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dinopam Tika Drita Mebawa, Sutokaya Mebawa, Sukokaya Mebawa, Adoratu Mebawa, Savar Siddhi Ventrayata, Savar Karma Sutame, Sistam Shriyam Guru Om, Bhagavan, Savar Tata Kapta Vajramani, Vajrabhava, Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajrasattva Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dhenota Tika Drito Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Adoratu Mebawa Savar Siddhi Ventrayata Savar Karma Sutame Sistam Shriyam Guru Bhagavan Savar Tata Kapta Vajramani Vajrabhava. Now, the five-pronged origin is the symbol of Vajrasattva, using the five elements and the five states of unconditional awareness. And this is the connection, is your mind in the middle. That's the particle. So these five mean indestructible. So as this light energy starts to reduce the dense patterning that you've placed in your body into more subtle patterns, this becomes the symbol of that energy program. Then these two together into the female energy of the universe to bring all of that into harmony as the five elements into your physical, mental, emotional situation. So as you sound the mantra, these two are the two symbols of the deity above your head. And in some practices, you start with these two symbols before you imagine the two C syllables, which come from the center of these two symbols. So the mom and the home, the mom arises from the bell symbol, and the home from the dorji symbol. Then these disappears and the two symbols connect to bring the 100 syllables into play, and that's when the deities appear. With the 100 syllables in their heart center, then all of that starts to activate with the sound of your voice, which is being purified by saying this mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam, Manu Palayam, Vajrasattva Denapa, Vajrasattva Samayam, Manu Palayam, Vajrasattva Denapa, Supokaya Mevavam, Supokaya Mevavam, Anurata Mevavam, Salasati Mechaya, Savakama Sutame, Sutam Shriyam Guru, Om, Om, Bhagavan, Sarvajata Gata, Vajramami Musa, Vajravam, Mahasamaya Sattva, Om, Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva Samaya, Vajrasattva Denubhava, Tita Jidu Mevavam, Sutokaya Mevavam, Supokaya Mevavam, Anurata Mevavam, Savarshadi Manjayati, Savakama Sutame, Sutam Shriyam Guru, Bhagavan, Savarjata Gata, Vajramami, Vajravam, Mahasamaya Sattva. Now you're holding the sound of the mantra together with visualizing it, circling in the heart, spreading light through the deities. Then their light enters from the point of union down through your head in stages, filling your body, all negative out, and all the energy centers and chakras throughout your body. It all becomes sludge. Down into the earth is nectar for the gods and beings there. Gods and goddesses. We say nagas and animals. When you visualize that, you at the same time think of all mother sentient beings purifying, equal to your purification in your mind. Without the mantra, visualize this energy program, then that spreading down through you, and the result out and down into the earth. And the home connecting to the interconnected state of all beings, your family. And that's the word sarva in the mantra. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samayam, Tika Drito Me Bhavam, Sudokaya Me Bhavam, Supokaya Me Bhavam, Anurata Me Bhavam, Salasati Mechayati, Savakama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Guru, Om, Bhagavan, Sarvajata Gata, Vajramami Musa, Vajravam, Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samayam, Manu Palayam, Vajrasattva Denapa, Tita Jidu Mevavam, Supokaya Mevavam, Supokaya Mevavam, Anurata Mevavam, Savarshadi Manjayati, Savakama Sutame, Sutam Shriyam Guru, Bhagavan, Sarvajata Gata, Vajramami Musa, Vajravam, Mahasamaya Sattva. Now this mantra to accumulate the correct purification process result, it said 21 times daily, or one round of the mantra with mala, which is 108, until you have accumulated 111,111 recitations of this 100-syllable mantra. Then it is used daily 3, 7, or 21 times to continue the purification process as a daily practice. Then the other mantra, the short mantra called the heart mantra, is when you bring the deity or two deities, whichever way you're practicing, down into you, and your ordinary body completely disappears and you become Vajrasattva and Vajrayogini. Then you think all sentient beings same, equal, and you say the short mantra. And it circles the home, and if it's two deities, the connecting home and mom to our chakras. And it sounded like this. Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva, Mam, 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 Om Vajrayogini. So you say the short mantra at least as many times as you said the long one, the more the better, to establish your energy field as all pervasive. Not just your area, not just the solar system or galaxy, the entire universe is your energy field. Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva, Mam, 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 Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva, Mam. Now when you incorporate into this holographic symbol of purification, which applies not only to you but all sentient beings, then you can visualize, while you're saying the short mantras, these 5 codes. So the code of interconnectedness is the blue Om. That one you can visualize in your heart. The white Om in your head. The red, green Ah in your throat. The yellow Cham in your navel. And the red Shri in your sex chakra. And this way you connect to all the 5 dhyana Buddha fields as internalized in your inside the central channel of you being the deity. And by doing that, you establish the 5 states of awareness as what all of these practices are accomplishing. Because simply being in an interconnected state and constantly locating voidness as your natural mind, all-pervasive mind, is not enough. You must extend it out of compassion to all living beings using the practice of the path of the Bodhisattva, constantly purifying your own judgmental mind, making everything equal and appropriate, and discerning that this energy field of the five dhyana Buddhas is infinitely more prosperous, healthy than the way we've been doing it. The drama mind, judgmental mind, way. Om Vajrasattva, Vajragini, Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Om Pei. Just one pei is necessary. Pei means to cut. Cut from judgmental mind. Cut from all negative or inappropriate or harmful actions of body, speech, and mind. Then you can substitute one of the elemental dakinis with Vajrasattva. So how you do that is you just say Om Vajra. Instead of Vajragini, you can say Om Pema Yogini Vajrasattva Mam Ram Hum. So you're using the red dakini with Vajrasattva, and the seed syllable changes to Ram Hum. Om Pema Dakini Vajrasattva Ram Hum. Om Pema Dakini Vajrasattva Ram Hum. So she's red, he's white. Om Pema Dakini Vajrasattva Ram Hum. 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 Om Pema Dakini Vajrasattva Om Pema Dakini Vajrasattva Ram Hum. Om Pema Dakini Vajrasattva Ram Hum. Om Pema Dakini Vajrasattva Ram Hum. So you would use this special application, but not just you, but it changes the whole code of your internal visualization applied to the whole universe of sentient beings, in your mind and in the universe, as one. So there's no outer, no inner, no separation. Then you could move to the next one, which would be the gold dakini, Ratna dakini. So Om Ratna Yogini, Vajrasattva, Ram Hum. Om Ratna dakini, Vajrasattva, Ram Hum. Ram is her seed zone. Ratna, she is gold and he is white. Om Ratna dakini, Vajrasattva, Ram Hum. 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 And you keep doing this, you're able to fit not just you, not just your creation stage, but the whole universe of all sentient beings equal to you as this visualization. They're all the same. Om Ratna dakini, Vajrasattva, Ram Hum. Om Ratna dakini, Vajrasattva, Ram Hum. Om Ratna dakini, Vajrasattva, Ram Hum. Pei. That means any judgment, any idea of separation, etc. Then you, excuse me, then you go to the karma yogini. She's green, using the seed syllable yam. Om karma dakini, Vajrasattva, yam, om. 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 Okay. And you let that dissolve, then it arises as what we call the Buddha Dakini. She is white. She is blue, and he is white. Om God, and her seed syllable is Vam. Vam. Om Buddha Dakini. Vam. Om. Om Buddha Dakini. Vajrasattva. 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 Om. Now, blue and white can interchange, and Vam and Hum can interchange. So either way is okay. But for now, Om Buddha Dakini, Vajrasattva, Om. 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 And all sentient beings sing Om Buddha Dakini, Vajrasattva, Om. Om Buddha Dakini, Vajrasattva, Om. Om Buddha Dakini, Vajrasattva, Om. Okay. And all sentient beings that you've been including in your sadhana, your practice, all dissolve into you. Then whichever dakini you ended your practice with dissolves into the male aspect. And the seed syllables, all the female ones dissolve into the home. Then the home in a five-colored sphere of light disappears into the boundless fabric of space. No meditation. Allow the energy of voidness, compassion, and bliss to penetrate your stream of being. Simply be present and aware. And when you reappear whatever yidam practice you are doing, or as Vajrasattva, or Vajrasattva in union with one of the five dakini. Now, the Om Ah Hum that you started the practice with the breath, and then sending light out to the root lama and all the lineage lamas, that's the empowerment of the practice. I'm going to read the sadhana, which is the loom of the practice. And because we did the practice tonight, that's called the tree, T-R-I in Tibetan. So all sadhanas or pujas in Tibetan Buddhism require these three to accomplish the practice. And the word accomplishment means to gain realization of your ultimate nature, your natural mind nature, and to attain a state of non-judgmental application. So I'm going to read the sadhana in English. This is called the lung. Visualizing the crown of your head, the seed-cell of the palm brings the Buddha Dakini on an 8-petal lotus to establish the universe as your realm of application. Above the lotus is a ram, which becomes a flat sun disk. This is the energy of whatever appears in mind or sensually. And above the sun disk is the seed cell Vaha, which turns into a moon disk. The sun and moon discs are used to indicate the enlightenment aspect of our natural world around us applied to our mind. Resting on top of the lotus sun and the moon is a home which turns into a white five-pronged Vajra, which is I showed you earlier. And this fulfills the aim of enlightenment and purification of all sentient beings. Then the light returns from the Vajra in the home, and it turns into the deity Vajrasattva called Vajrasattva, who is white or blue according to your instructions of your root lama, and is incorporating all the six sources of refuge. The body is white or blue and clear with one face and two ends. The right hand holds the Vajra at the heart, the left hand holds a silver bell with the golden Vajra handle near this on the thigh or near the hip. He sits in Vajra Mudra, which means full lotus position of the leg. If in union, the seat symbol of the deity of the Dakini appears as the bell. These two together become the creation sound of the two deities in union and attract all the energy of the sources of refuge, which become the 100-syllable mantra. The Vajra is the male symbol of indestructible mind, and it's a purification of the 5 basic unstable emotions into the 5 Buddha family. This represents the void nature of mind. The bell or dhruva is a symbol of the 5 elements as the Dakinis, blended with natural wisdom mind as a realization of the natural state of our phenomenal world. This creation phase is shown with the deities dressed in silks and jewels, indicating the elements and also the 6 basic practices of the Bodhisattva. The 5-jewel crown on their head is the 5 dhyana Buddhas and all the peaceful symbols. The crown of the head at the top knot is Aksabhaya Buddha, indicating incorporating the energy field of interconnectedness or union, no separation. This wisdom mind application purifies anger, aversion, hatred, jealousy, and ignorance. The body is adorned with 32 major and 80 minor marks of the rainbow body of the energy called Sambhoga Kaya. His and her bodies are clear and measureless light. They appear to lack any substantiality, like a hologram or like a reflection of moon in water. The Om, Ah, Hum are indicated in the head of the deity. Om in the head, Ah in the throat, Om in the heart. These bring the body, speech, and mind together and connect to all the sources of refuge for empowerment. Above the lotus, sun, and moon, encircling the white Om in the heart, is like a snake of coiled mantric sounds. They are coiled clockwise and spin out the energy from the 100 syllables of the mantra. The letters are white and clear and face outward away from the Om, which is in the center. Light radiates from the mantras as invitation to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions and the 3 times of past, present, and future. They all dissolve into the deities, Vajrasattva and Vajrayogini, and because of this union, all the precious ones, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Lamas, protectors, etc., are present. We pray out loud for the removal of all past harmful acts and tendencies of body, speech, and mind, and all obscurations of one's past and present life up to this moment to be purified. The excellent Dorje Sabda, Vajrasattva, removes this by the indication of the light energy passing through the body and all harmful forced out and down into the earth as bliss or whatever is appropriate to sentient beings there. All delusions, transgressions, all negative and harmful activity, all broken commitments of Samaya, and all the negative energy of all sentient beings purified. This fills space in the 6 realms of rebirth. Then we visualize the wisdom light pouring down from the seed-syllable form and the 100-syllable mantra filling one's body. The excess streams out through all pores of the body, and all of that sluices into the earth. The light enters through the Uma channel at the crown of the head and fills each stage or chakra energy center of the body for purification. All harmful deeds, obscurations gathered throughout beginning of lifetimes take the form of soot and sludge. All unstable emotions and diseases take the form of like insects, parasites, and so forth. All substances compromising your physical body that cause any disharmony of the flesh, blood, and bones, and so forth, stream out like bubbles through all the orifices, especially the lower orifices, and sense organs, and skin pores. And all of this dissolves into the golden ground and becomes nectar and food for living beings in the earth. Then you visualize your body has been purified by the elixir of awareness. This elixir overflows at the crown of your head, comes again in contact with the foot of Vajrasattva and Vajrayogini, and this interaction attracts the deity into your situation. The 100-syllable mantra is repeated many times by the voice in a state of undistracted visualization while reciting the mantra. The mantra alone will not affect purification. It is necessary to use your imagination and the voice together. Keeping these two together, the visualization is done without a moment's distraction. Continuously recite the 100-syllable mantra clearly and softly out loud at a moderate pace. Think that your body is insubstantial and clear as this takes place. You are now the rainbow body of Vajrasattva as an enlightened bodhisattva deity. The body looks like a transparent container into which the elixir has been poured. Hold your ball on the left hand for counting and try to do 100 to 300 recitations per hour without keeping single-pointed concentration together with the mantra of your speech. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manubalaya Vajrasattva Dinala Tita Gita Namawan Sadhukaya Nipokaya Vegawa Nawaka Vigawa Siddham Jaya Go Home Bhagavan Sarvajam Pagata Vajrava Masamaya Sattva. Full accomplishment is done by reciting the mantra 111,000 times with the short mantra of the deity equal, same amount. Pleased by your recitation, the Vajrasattva as your Lama tells you that you have entered the Buddha family, and now all harmful deeds, obscurations, and transgressions are purified all past lives up to this present moment. Vajrasattva breathes on me, dissolves the delight, melts into me, and absorbs. We become one. Now Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind are not separate from my own body, speech, and mind, and that of all sentient beings. Then say the short mantra Om Vajrasattva Om, or Om Vajrayogini Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Om. You say this at least as many times as you have done the 100-syllable mantra in this session. Hey is said at the end of the session is cutting all negative connection, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. In the dissolution phase, you dissolve all the mantra and all sentient beings as the deity into you, into the form in your heart center. Then relax. Stay in this state without meditation and without judgment for a short period of time, at least 5 to 10 minutes. longer if possible. Have no grasping or attachment or aversion to thoughts arising in your mind during this session. Let them come, let them go. Do not become dull or bored or sleepy to lose track of your awareness. Watch with no distraction. Remain alert and aware in the state of Mahamudra. At the close of each meditation session, share with all sentient beings with whatever dedication prayer is appropriate. They are ultimately never separate from you. Once you have become Vajrasattva, every single sentient being in the sixth round is placed in that state by purity of your activity. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings not have suffering and the cause of suffering. May all beings never be without the supreme bliss which is free from all suffering. May all beings live in the great equanimity which is free from all attachment, aversion, delusion, pride, and envy. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Free. Om Tarti Tarti Riso, 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 Om Riso, Om Tarti Tarti 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 Riso. So Om Tarti Tarti Riso, 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 Om Tarti Tarti Riso. Ewadi Nurdu Lord Singing Malu Pami Day Sawa Kopasha Sanjay Kusum Jumpa Jumma Dam Choni Nivu Jumpa Jum Kendi Niche Jumpa Jumma Ki Jita Dumma Dumma Jumpa. By this virtue, having realized Mahamudra, may quickly establish all beings without a single exception in that state. By the blessing of the three bodies of the Buddha being accomplished by the blessing of the truth of the Dharma being unchanging, and by the blessing of the wishes of us, the Sangha being unwavering, may this and all dedication prayers be fulfilled. May all the Lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity. May all their wishes be fulfilled. Tuchiche, aloha, mahalo, and thank you. Thank you for practicing together.